Hey, back with another video. And today I decided to not be in the video, so of course I put Bun Bun in his little chair and he's going to be the star of the show. Right now Bun Bun is studying for some exams, so he's trying to get as much information as he can so he can remember so he can take this test. I'm being silly. But anyway, I was thinking today about that question that so many people have, to go to college or not go to college. And I think that most people believe that receiving an education is important. And we all know somebody who's ignorant, or we've been around people who live in ignorance, and it's scary. So I believe that knowledge is power, and once you learn things, you are able to do and create and repair and just basically live your life. I mean, you have to have knowledge in order to avoid a lot of the pitfalls that are in front of you. For many people, I think that college can be a waste of time and money. And to me, a lot of people tend to believe in a myth that college is for everybody and that everyone's happiness and wealth depends on that college degree. There are many methods of learning, okay? There are trade schools, which were very popular back in the 1990s and before that. And with trade schools, you pretty much have like the same textbooks. A lot of them have the same textbooks as colleges, but a lot of it is just eliminating some of the unnecessary things that really don't relate to the specific field that you want to go into. So, like, for example, if somebody wants to go and be, an accounting, a bookkeeper, okay? So they're just going to learn accounting and things that relate to business, whether that be basic finance or, just learning how to learn it to operate a 10 key, how to use some of the current software programs and that sort of thing is what the business schools teach, trade schools, okay? They're eliminating things like science, they're eliminating English, they're eliminating, some of the required subjects that you have to take in order to get enough credit so that you can actually get your degree. So they're just basically focusing on the meat and potatoes of it. And that's one way of receiving knowledge. And also there's online schools as well. They're colleges, and some are just as good as brick and mortar schools. If you walk away with knowledge and understand how to apply the knowledge, then you've received a good education. And most important is if you receive the knowledge and you know how to apply it into your everyday life. In my case, compared to my perpetrators, many attended brick and mortar schools that provided the same pretty much textbooks, and many had the opportunity to listen to speakers. And here's the difference between a brick and mortar and versus an online college. Some of them get speakers that come in. They get to attend certain things, and they get to hear people do presentations and stuff like that. And this is supposed to help enhance their learning, okay? In my case, or my observation in a lot of situations, okay, but like in this particular situation, I'm looking at people here who had, supposedly, because they have their 4-year degree, they're supposed to think that they actually, well, most people would assume that with that they would be able to understand that what they've done was wrong, okay, but they didn't. They didn't understand. And so my point is that sometimes I think employers put a lot of emphasis on a college degree because they think that this is going to give everybody what they need in order to learn. And yes, I would say at the time, depending on, like, for example, some fields that you go into are going to change drastically. From the minute that you graduate, it's almost as if that college degree is obsolete. For example, computer programmers. Most of the people that I knew who worked in computers, whether that be programming them or repairing them, most of the people that I knew who held positions and worked for companies, and this is not a lie, did not have any college education. So you're probably wondering, well, how did they make it? Well, many of these people were fans of, like, for example, the first home computer, and they were there on the scene. They received the first home computer. They were interested in it. They had a love and a passion for those computers from the minute they actually brought that computer into their home. So they're very intimate with the computer, and they have, I would say, it's almost like a gift, okay, because these people are so skilled. They had the intrigue and they had the drive to actually somehow learn this information on their own. And I'm sure they've had their ways of studying the information too on their own, but for whatever reason they had a major passion for it. In trade schools, oftentimes you also do get to put yourself in situations where you're actually utilizing your skills and working out issues as if you were working in the office. I wanted to bring that up too. So in my last job, with the one with the farmer, I was the only one who passed the accounting test. That is one of the reasons why I received the job in the first place. And I am sure many people who took that test went to college. I have been told by several people that even though the person who worked this particular position before me, who received their 4-year degree, I have been able to maintain the books better than someone with that education. So I would say, I'm not saying that people shouldn't go to college. That's not what I'm saying, and please do not misunderstand me. If you're the kind of person who retains what they learn, and also you're able to learn in group settings, and you're able to not only take in the information, but retain it and also apply it to your life. If you truly are a good student in life, okay, you're going to benefit from that. And so it's not necessarily a waste of money. But for a lot of people, you know what, it kind of is, okay? So it's something that really needs to be thought about. I mean, it's almost like it's an investment, and it's kind of like a gamble, because there is no guarantee that once you receive, and I've known a lot of people, I mean, you can go to Starbucks, or you can go to, retail store, which is nothing wrong with working those, okay? But a lot of these people went to college for something else and ended up doing the opposite of what they went to college for. So it's something that people should not take lightly. It's something they really need to think about before they decide to get into debt. I mean, the average college tuition for a private college runs about $46,000 a year. So that's a lot of money. So it's something that people really need to think about. Now, here are a few things that one should consider when it comes to going to college, okay? They need to consider the fact that the unemployment, 50% of college graduates are unemployed or underemployed. And for those who do have jobs, half of the recent graduates are working in jobs that don't require a college degree. That's a lot, okay? That's a lot. Okay, and then you have to consider the student debt. Okay, like I said, the average college education is about $46,000 a year for a private college. Okay, for a private college. Considering that you have about a 50-50 chance of getting what you really want, it's better to actually think about that before you invest your money. Okay, and then also the issue of technology. Like I brought up the issue with the computer programmer. The computer programmer who's going to college for that particular field. Now, this has happened, I knew a lot of people back in the 90s who got burned because everybody was rushing in to go to college for that particular field. And like I said, most of the people that I actually knew who actually had jobs in that field were just the computer geeks, okay? But some of the information, like I said, in college is going to be obsolete by the time you leave it. Just think how rapidly, computers are constantly advancing. So everything that you're learning in college is not saying that it's a waste of time. It's not saying it doesn't apply to the latest technology, but a lot of times those things change. I mean, in such a degree that it's almost as if, why did you bother in the first place? Just something you got to think about. Now, I also believe that experience beats a degree. There's nothing wrong. I mean, for all the money that you're spending for a college degree program, you're also going to need, most employers want you to go to college, and they also want you to have at least 3 years experience in order to get the job. Okay, like I said, these are things that really need to be considered. Now, in my way, I have noticed, when I was growing up, I remember telling my mom, I was off and on about college, and then I kept thinking, I really don't think so. And I remember her and I talking about it, and I made a statement. I said, it's not really what you know, it's who you know. And I know my mom thought that was like a really stupid thing to say, because my mom is very privileged in a way where she didn't have to work. My father took care of her. And she doesn't know how things really work, okay? I mean, I'm sure you can look around for yourselves, and you can see that, a lot of people have jobs when they really shouldn't, okay? It's because they were fortunate. Maybe it's a family-owned business, and they decided to hire this particular person or whatever, okay? Anyway, then as I got older, I kept thinking, what? I want to challenge myself. I want to challenge myself. But I want to talk to you about how I got into my work. And I worked as an intern for 3 days a week, unpaid, for a large company. And for 3 months, I was offered a position. I worked there for nothing. I was just an intern, and I worked there for like 3 months. And there was an available position that came that opened up, and I applied for it because since I had training on the job. And then I worked on doing travel reimbursements, accounts payable, but I knew that this was an opening for me. So I decided to apply for the job, got a job, and I decided that somehow I'm going to continue my learning process as I'm working and use the combination between, going to school and then also learning on the job, and that way it would help me learn even more. I did go to a trade school prior to that, though. Anyway, I also made it a point to ask people for their work assignments, to see if they didn't want to do something, then I would kind of take it off their desk and learn as I went along. I learned how to complete journal entries, and I felt confident to move on to other jobs. And, there's a lot of people that I know who did the same thing, There were a lot of people who started off with just enough education, accounting education from high school, and they worked as secretaries and worked themselves up to being a bookkeeper. And that was very common back then as well. A college degree does not, nor has it ever guaranteed success. And I've met many people who have less education than I have who make a decent living, okay? Also, for many targeted individuals who are on this channel have more education than I do, okay? And some hold master's degrees and are struggling to get a job, okay? So when it comes to gang stalking, that's another issue, that people need to consider. I mean, not only is college a kind of a gamble, and it doesn't guarantee anything. Let's just say, for example, you somehow or another, you knew the right people, you got in the door, and you also had your degree at the same time, and so you're moving up the ranks, right? And then all of a sudden, a corrupt individual decides to throw a little bit of a bug in somebody's ear, and this unprofessional, unqualified person decides to go along with it and then spread it like a cancer. That person's career is over, okay? So, and that's another issue that you have to consider. With things like gang stalking, I mean, there's a lot of people that I feel very sorry for. Their parents put out a lot of money, and then some of these kids went to college, and they have, like I said, master's degrees, and they're sitting here twiddling their thumbs, desperately trying to find a job, okay? And it's hard anyway, but then being a targeted individual, it's like, good grief, there is no guarantee in this world. There is none. So I wanted to list a couple of people, and I'm going to put them down in the description box. I got this information, and it's really interesting, who were very successful without a college degree. Abraham Lincoln was a lawyer, a U.S. president, of course, and he finished 1 year of formal schooling. Okay, that was all he ever went to school was, for 1 year. He was self-taught. He also taught himself trigonometry and read Blackstone, and on his own, he read Blackstone, and on his own, he became a lawyer. Let's see. Amadeo Peter, I think his name is Giannini. He's a multimillionaire. He's the founder of Bank of America. He dropped out of high school. Andrew Carnegie, industrialist and philanthropist, and one of the first mega-billionaires in the United States. He was an elementary school dropout. It's this is crazy. Frank Lloyd Wright. Now, he was the most influential architect of the 20th century. You can probably Google his name, and you can look at some of the wonderful works that he created. He never attended college, and not only that, he not only just not attended college, he never attended high school. Okay, so I think a lot of people are under the misconception that college is going to give them something that they don't have. Okay, college will give you a degree. It will do that. Okay, but can it prepare you for the real world? And that's another complaint that a lot of people have made, that college doesn't prepare you for the real world. I also believe that Bill Gates, I want to bring up some of the more modern day successes, because some of that information I guess they were starting off with this long list. Some of them I had already heard of before, but they were starting off with this long list, and some of it was like dating really way back, and then it's kind of going further and it's progressing. I believe Bill Gates is also another one, and I believe Stephen Jobs was a person who dropped out of college. So I was reluctant to express my feelings about college, because after having the conversation with my mother, I realized that was something that was almost taboo with people, because so many people are under this misconception that they're guaranteed a good life and all the perks, and they're going to get everything they want once they put in all that money, or they may even graduate with a 4.0 and everything, okay? But even still, that does not guarantee anything at all. Okay, you have to have the will, you have to have the drive, and yes, you do have to know some people. Okay, and so anyway, after I talked to my mother about this issue, I remember not really wanting to talk about it. And some people, when I first started working in accounting, that was not even really required. That's one of the reasons why I came to the town that I'm in. I saw the newspaper from where I was living. I'm like, wow, okay, I can do this. Okay, so I got, I packed up and I came over here. But I know a lot of people that I used to know, because they believe I realize that most people believe in that myth, to the point of where they're ready to argue, debate, and get all cutthroat over the issue. It is an issue that gets a lot of people mad, because they're that convinced that they're right about this. And look around, okay? You'll see that it's not true. But I knew not to talk about it, because I knew. And so, people who would follow up with me, hey, you do this, and this, and this. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. Because I don't want to get involved with it. I don't want to hear it, okay? Because I know how people think and what they believe. But you know what? They can believe what they want to. But you need to start looking at the facts and start looking at people. I mean, there's so many people out there who are just a statistic. They're one of the people who believe that, went into college thinking they were going to get something, and they have nothing. Like I say, that's not to say that college is not. I'm not bashing college. I'm not. I'm just saying is that I think that should not be the main thing, the deal breaker when it comes to an employer considering a candidate. A lot of people are under the misconception that, a lot of people learn accounting or whatever skill in a lot of different ways. But some people think that if you went to college, that might make you well-rounded. It makes you more well-rounded. You're going to be well-versed in a lot of subjects. You're going to be able to talk about, all kinds of deep things. And look around. I want you to really start looking around at people. Take your own surveys if you want to. You'll see that that's not true. Okay? I know a lot of people who've gone to college, and I hate to say it, but they're just dumb. They read it, they remembered the information, they spewed it out on a test, and when they walked out the door, they were just as uneducated as when they went in, okay? I'm not saying college is bad. I'm not saying don't go to college. I'm just saying give it a little thought. So anyway, I'm going to wrap up this video. I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and take care. Bye-bye.